For years, world powers have attempted to negotiate a lasting nuclear deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action failed to stop Iran's nuclear ambitions, nor did it thwart its malign activities locally and abroad. After negotiators from the European Union in 2022 delivered a final offer, the Iranians presented a counteroffer described by one U.S. official as not constructive, adding that the Iranian response, rather than providing a good faith reaction, shows that we appear to be moving backwards. My name is Rick Firth, Digital Director for Honest Reporting Canada, and let's dig deeper. While the exact details of the 2022 Iranian response are not publicly known, this behavior on part of the Islamic Republic should come as a surprise to no one. After all, when it comes to Tehran's interactions with the West, honesty and transparency has always taken a back seat to deception and duplicity. In the aftermath of the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, Tehran wasted no time in violating key tenets of the agreement. In 2016, the International Atomic Energy Agency reported that Iran had exceeded a key threshold governing heavy water, used in the cooling of nuclear reactors. Perhaps more importantly, under the terms of the JCPOA, Iran was obligated to divulge its past nuclear weapons research. But when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu unveiled in 2018 tens of thousands of pages of documents and files secretly seized from a clandestine Iranian facility by Israel, he revealed that Iran had in fact hidden a great deal of its research on nuclear weapons. Even under the weak terms of the 2015 agreement, which did not address Iran's financial and logistical support for regional Islamist terrorism or its development of intercontinental ballistic missiles, Tehran was not satisfied. Iran's regime cheated even when it succeeded in achieving a sweetheart deal. It did so because for Iran's leaders, the latest agreement with Western powers are never an end in themselves. They are just a means to squeeze more concessions and evade accountability. For years, Iran has been the primary patron of its terror proxy Hezbollah, the Lebanon-based Shiite Islamist group, which is in many ways the de facto government of southern Lebanon. More recently, Tehran has financed and armed the Houthis, a Yemen-based terrorist group, in their conflict with Saudi Arabia, and Iran continues its stealthy military encroachment in Syria by placing Iranian missile and weapons production centers at Israel's doorstep. The recent attempted Iranian plot to assassinate former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton and the violent attack against writer Salman Rushdie more than 3 decades after Ayatollah Khomeini placed a fatwa on his head calling for his murder is a painful reminder that Iran's leaders see no boundaries or borders with respect to propagating their extreme ideology. It should be clear to any sanguine observer that Iran seeks to wrangle more concessions out of Western powers in an attempt to strengthen and solidify its regional power in the Middle East, and not in a good faith attempt to find common ground when it comes to its nuclear program. Even now, during ongoing negotiations aimed at reviving the 2015 agreement, Iran's president has made clear that he considers key IAEA inspections of Iranian nuclear sites to be a deal breaker. Without resolving safeguards issues, talking about an agreement would be meaningless, he said at a news conference in Tehran on August 29, 2022. At the same time, Iran continues its uranium enrichment program by rolling out advanced IR-6 centrifuges. Meanwhile, the IAEA says Iran has enough enriched uranium for 2 nuclear bombs, and the chief of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization has said they have the technical capabilities to build a nuclear weapon. A new nuclear deal between Iran and Western powers must address Iran's state-sponsored support for terrorism and its ballistic missile development, in addition to dramatically strengthening nuclear enforcement and verification mechanisms in order to serve any meaningful hope of curtailing Iran's atomic appetite. To summarize, instead of being shorter and weaker, the new deal must be longer and stronger. Tragically, however, that does not appear to be in the cards. Conversely, a new deal at this stage, lacking those elements and that reportedly enriches Iran with $100 billion annually, and $1 trillion over a decade in sanctions relief would only strengthen groups like Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, and other terrorist organizations who receive Iranian support and do its bidding. This is why a bipartisan group of 50 U.S. members of Congress in 2022 sounded the alarm bell on the looming deal, and 5,000 Israeli security experts said that based on our collective experience and assessment, we believe that this deal is catastrophic for American, Israeli, and global peace and security for a broad range of reasons. This is precisely why Canada needs to speak out about the dangers of any weak nuclear deal with Iran so that the Canadian public can understand not only the threat the Iranian regime represents, but why this revived agreement does little to stop Tehran in its unyielding quest for regional dominance, nuclear weapons, and malicious terrorist activities worldwide.